Okay, everyone, welcome to Win at the Horses, the weekend preview heading into the July 4th weekend. Joe Kelley and his dad, Bill Kelley. How you doing, Dad? You're out there, and I guess after we had a bang-up version
Doing
of
fine.
Royal Ascot, now we're on to the tough races, right?
Right. Yes.
Yeah. So this weekend we've got some good races that are lined up. Change in plans out in the Midwest. These races were supposed to be at Churchill Downs, but they had trouble with the track and breakdowns and such. Now moving to Ellis Park. Do you have offhand? Do you have any biases about Ellis Park?
I, Joe, I looked at the track. Uh, what do they call it? The track profile, and it looks to me like, particularly on dirt, and even in turf, you got to be up front.
Mm-hmm.
You know, by the second call of most every race, you've got to be no more than three lengths back. So deep closers are going to have trouble on this track. It's a lot smaller, obviously, than Churchill.
Right.
So the some great races though. Yeah. The
Yeah.
interesting thing to me is that I heard this morning that there are between now and July 4th, there's 75 stake races.
Really.
35 of them are on Saturday. Yeah, I mean,
Wow.
a lot more than what we're going to cover, but
Yeah.
there are 35 stake races on Saturday. Yeah.
Yeah. There's always
So,
the argument
I mean,
about the argument that packing everything into one day is at a detriment to the Wednesday, Thursday cards and the 5-horse, 6-horse fields. But it seems to be working pretty good after all this adjustment on the Saturdays.
I agree. I agree.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I would think that most people, and I put that in quotes, uh,
Right.
handicap on the weekends.
Yeah.
You know, only us degenerates are in the middle of the week.
Yeah. Only us degenerates have the horse racing screen minimized while they're doing work. We're not doing work. So hey, let's. I know a lot of our
Exactly.
viewers can definitely relate to that. So listen, let's get
Right.
into Ellis Park. We've got race 3, which is the American Derby. I'm going to pull up some PPs right here
Mhm.
to let our listeners get into it. So we've got it's the American Derby for 3-year-olds. How do you look at a race on the turf for 3-year-olds? What kind of horse are you looking for in this kind of race and this deep into the season?
Well, yeah, first of all, the first thing I look for are there any horses that have shown they can run on Ellis Park?
Hmm.
Because uh, most of these horses are all from Churchill Downs or somewhere else, uh, where the race was originally scheduled to run, not Ellis Park. And
Right.
so uh, uh, so that's the first thing I look for. And then I look to see if the horse, like the horse that you have selected, a hidden path, is hasn't run in Ellis, but has run twice on turf and won both times. So you have to obviously that's going to be a major player. The only question I have is he going to be worth any money to bet on? I
Yeah.
mean, obviously with a record like that, and he's got Pratt up, who's an excellent turf rider. Uh, he's going to demand a lot of the money in the pools. That's why I didn't pick him. Obviously, it's an obvious selection.
Hmm. Yeah, the way I looked at actually the selection I had came across Hidden Path. Pletcher, typically spaces out the horses 30 days or so, and this horse looks to be improving or can hang right in there, and one more step up could take this race. So that's why I put Hidden Path. You had Hidden Path as well.
I have him as a value play, I think, didn't I? Is that what it is?
Yeah.
Yeah, obviously, he's not going to be 9-2. That's fairyland, fairy tale land.
Yeah.
But I threw it on the thing. I picked Mo Stash, who has, believe it or not, has won on this track on turf. And so, that caught my eye, even though he won in a sprint.
Right.
I went with, and he's listen, he's run 7 times on turf and finished first or second in 4 of them. So, obviously he's a contender. I thought I'd get a little better price. And we'll see.
Yeah, and Luis Saez, well suited for that kind of horse, likes to be on the engine early. So
yeah.
Let's hope we're both right. Maybe
so.
box the 2 a decent price over there. So we're going to move along right now to more of the stake races. Yeah. So we've got actually race number 8 is the Fleur de Lis.
Named after you.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah. Actually, the Fleur de Lis. G told me how to pronounce that.
Well, that's
because I used to always say Fleur de Lis, but it's Fleur de Lis. They say Fleur de Lis.
Oh, is that? Oh, really?
Yeah. So
that's probably the Canadian. Being from Paris, it's Fleur de Lis, right?
Yeah, that's right. Well, they do. They do have.
I thought you were going to do the 6th race, which was Kelley's Landing Stakes.
That's right.
I thought it was named after you.
Yeah, let me get the Kelley's Landing in there. That's my bad on that one. Well, you could start talking about. I'll pull up the essential stuff.
Yeah. Well, my top selection was Bango, number 2, and is that correct? Yeah.
Yeah, number 2. Yeah.
And again, it's a horse that has won at Ellis Park in its past. And it's 3 for 7 at the distance, so 4 for 7 in the money. So I thought it was a decent. I think the favorite is going to be, because the morning line was not out, or it is now.
Right.
Well, the morning line is now Bango. So
yeah.
So they're following me already.
They've been listening to you.
So yeah, right.
Yeah.
We're all going down together. And the
Yeah.
interesting long shot I have here and is Happy Jack. And this horse I picked as a long shot only from the standpoint of he's been facing fantastic horses his whole career. I mean, he's been in over his head for. Let me pull up the actual past performances so I can read off some of these names that he's faced. He's been beaten, but sometimes you wonder, will that discourage a horse? This horse. Where is he? Happy Jack. Here we go. Jack Christopher. Remember him
Mhm.
last year, right?
Right.
Early voting, he won the Preakness. Rich Strike, although I would not consider him a model of. I
Yeah.
faced Rich
He didn't
Strike.
never.
This horse has a 1 cent.
Yeah, that's right. So,
And then Taba, you know,
mhm,
Messier. Well, I mean, he's been facing the
right.
best of the best. Uh, and when he seems to get out of you know, that league, he seems to do much better. You know, so I thought maybe this he, if we get a decent price, and I'd like a big price on this baby.
Right.
12 to 1 or higher. It's truly a value play. So,
Yeah. Well, that's
and O'Neill, I mean, O'Neill can do it, and he's got Bejarano, who's a good rider. I know,
yeah.
so
Yeah, O'Neill,
all
he spots some good
things
horses for.
indicate that the horse could, yeah, yeah. I
Yeah.
mean, if he gets to that price point or higher, he's worth a shot to take a look. He's got some back certainly back people he's faced that would,
Mhm.
I mean, they'd be 1 to 5 in these races,
Yeah. All right. So those
So,
are the picks for the 6 race named after Bill Kelley and Joe
well,
Kelley.
what did you think of? How about how about your pick,
You know, I
Marcellus? What did you think here?
I had good thoughts about it, but I can't find the past performance. To be honest, I can't pull them up right now.
Great.
Can you refresh my mind? I think I'll remember.
Well, yeah, he's got a decent record. He's coming back off a long layoff. He hasn't
Yeah.
run since November of last year.
That's the Asmussen
His
horse,
record
right?
is yes,
Right.
and he's got Rosario on
Yeah.
him. His record is 5 starts, 3 wins, 2 seconds. So he's never run at Ellis, uh, but but he's certainly a candidate to win.
Right.
Uh, and I mean, he's listed at 6 to 1 right now. So I mean, if he stayed at that price, you could you could certainly put him in the value play.
Yeah, I definitely. Well, no surprise, the horse is working really well. Big layoff, but if we could get the 5 to 1 on the 5 Marcellus, I would take it.
And he finished off a similar layoff. He finished second by 3/4 of a length. So he
Mhm.
can do it.
Yeah, he'll hopefully be in the mix.
I'm sure he will. I'm sure he
Yeah.
will. If
All right,
our
we are here at.
friend Rosario doesn't screw it up.
Yeah, that's right, and
Go ahead.
starts trying to bring him home like 10 lengths behind. So, hey,
Right.
let's get into
Choke him down. Come from dead last.
yeah, exactly. Now we're gonna get into the Florida list, the 8th race, and we're definitely gonna get into that right now. Florida list, which is 1.125 miles, grade 2 race for fillies and mares, 4-year-olds and up. So, how did you see this one? It's definitely a good race.
Yes, and I picked be my sunshine on top, right?
Yeah.
So that's the 5 horse, and I have to refer. Is that right?
Yeah. Be my, yeah.
No, I'm. Is it the? Okay, what race is that? This is race
Oh, I got a little story on
6.
this one.
I'm
Yeah.
looking. Okay. The
Number 6.
and
I'm
I
Ray.
picked Bango. Right. Which one is this? Well,
We're looking at
I'm
the
on
8.
the wrong race. What race
Yeah,
number?
we're looking at the 8.
8. Okay. There you go. There you go.
Right.
I'm looking at my notes, and I did them in reverse order.
Right.
So, this is one that, A Moray, right?
Yeah.
And this is a Cox runner with Pratt up. This race is what is on dirt, right?
Yeah,
So
mile and an
this
eighth on the
horse
dirt.
is dirt. Yeah, I like the. I mean, it's listed as he's on a layoff, but he ran May 5th, so it's within 60 days, certainly.
Right.
And the horses has won off the bench before, as a matter of fact. Seems to enjoy the spacing in his races. So that's how I picked him, and I thought, well, it's 8-5. So as I said, I didn't have the morning line. So if he's 8-5, if the morning line is right, I wouldn't touch him with a 10-foot pole.
Oh, yeah.
Who else do we have? We had Old Chestnut. I had, and this is a horse that I thought might not get bet, and he's not even in the race as far as I can see.
Yeah. You're making up horses.
I'm thinking, yeah, but he would have won.
Yeah,
that's the
yeah.
That's the problem, because I think he was in the original, wasn't he? No. Yeah, I'm making up horses.
Yeah, Old Chestnut.
Well, you know what I'm looking at? See, I'm looking at my notes.
Yeah.
I'm looking at my notes, and he's running in Woodbine.
Okay.
It's
and we're not drunk.
What is it? Right.
Either of us.
I'm not even sure which one I picked. Pauline's Pearl I had as a backup there, and that's 3-1. So I'm picking chalk. There's no. Go ahead with yours.
Yeah, I've got. I tell you a little bit about Amo Ray. I actually owned a small piece of that horse. That was part of the My Horse thing, and they sold the horse. So when Pletcher had the horse, I had a little piece, but now it's running better than it did when we had him or she had him.
Yeah, she.
Yeah. But my pick that I went with, I tried to go with an upset here. The horse from Cali coming in, the number 1.
He must have been changed quite a while ago, no?
So, yeah, it was a while back.
In other words, I don't see where the here it is, back in December. Okay, December 31st.
But I'm going to try to upset with the number 1 Bellamore, Marty Garcia with Simon Callahan, and hoping. This horse is pretty versatile. 4 seconds in running on the dirt, but it's going to have to be a career effort, that's for sure. But I'll take a stab at this one.
5-1. It should be.
Yeah.
He figures.
So let's move along. The next race we are going to touch right now is the Wise Dan on the turf. This is always a great race. Wise Dan was one of the better turf horses in our lifetime.
A miler, really a miler.
Right.
Fantastic miler.
So,
although this is a.
Yeah, how did you see this one shaping up?
Well, I picked set piece. The interesting thing to me was when I pulled up the profile for this race. Uh, recently there's only what, two, four, six races, two, four, six races, and most of the races at Ellis this go around have been maidens. There are only two allowance races, and looking at it, the allowance races uh, would indicate that set piece has a chance because the maiden races everybody had to be up front, speed, but the allowance races uh, they came from position was 7 and almost 5 lengths behind at the second call, and the other one was was in fifth position, 1.7 lengths behind. So I mean, there is a chance that you can close, and when you look at the energy, it's definitely geared towards closing. That's so. So I thought that maybe set piece, and again, I'm a chalk eating weasel. He's 4 to
Yeah.
5, so
Yeah, that's right.
me and the rest of the world are on set piece.
Yeah. But if you can find a way to work
Go ahead.
it for exotics, yeah. But
Well, I also had Tut's Revenge, who is morning line of 20 to 1. So I did pick a horse that for value. I'll stick on that one.
yeah. Yeah, you're putting your neck out on that one. The blinker's coming off.
Yeah, it's only well, yeah. Got a good shot. Who'd you pick?
I've got your next door neighbor to Tut's Revenge, Harlan Estate. Declan Cannon aboard, great turf rider. This horse last couple runs has really shown some closing kick, and I think on the rail and everything, this may be a good spot to really have a career day for Harlan Estate on the number one. And the price, yeah.
He used to be that jockey used to be Richie Migliori's agent. He was the agent for that when he first was a bud boy.
Oh, okay.
So he's come a long way. Yeah, he's good. Yeah, that's 10 to 1. So your morning line, you got a shot. Well, I like it.
Yeah, we go with your 8, 10, and 1. Get them together, and maybe it'll be something worthwhile. Could be.
Right. Yeah. Could be.
So we're going to proceed to the feature race over at Ellis on Saturday. We've got the Stephen Foster, which I think I won it one year. I forgot the horse. I think it was a Doug O'Neill horse that may have won it. It was I don't know. I'd have to do the lookup on there, but it was a pretty good price, 9 to 1, I think. Yeah. So how do you?
Well, this is a great race. This is a great race. I mean, it. I mean, all these horses are. Most of them are graded 1 winners. I mean, they at one time or another they were super. I looked at. Again, I went with West Willpower, number 6, who's 7 to 2, and I'm looking for, what did I want? I wanted I forgot what I was looking for. But
Yeah.
the reason I like this horse is he's going to be right up there on the front. And I think that's an advantage here. See, the problem with this, and this is the problem with this track, is that they haven't, this go round, they haven't run. I think they've run 2 9-furlong races. Both of them were won on the front end. So, yeah, and both of them were maidens. So, it's hard to. Now, it's interesting. The energy level, where we were talking about at 8.5 furlongs, was definitely a late running. You had to have it in the stretch.
Mm-hmm.
The 2 races that were run at 9 furlongs before were kind of early. I mean, by the second call, both horses were leading. They basically went wire to wire. So, and they were, one was a 5-1 shot, and the other was 3-1. So they weren't necessarily favorites. That's how I ended up on and this horse has finished second at Ellis Park, so I gave that some extra credit. And I also, Pratt is developing into a major rider for Cox, even though most of his tack riding is in New York now. But that's how I looked at it. And I mean, you can go to the horse that should have the lead is the one from California, Stiletto Play, and I didn't go with him only from the standpoint that the horse hasn't won outside of California. When he's ventured out, he hasn't done as well. So I took that as a negative and decided I'll go with the West Will Power, who should be, he'll be close. He'll be close. And then there's Smile Happy, who's, the Kentucky favorite there. And this horse was supposed to be a major player in the Breeders' Cup last year. And if I'm not mistaken, he got hurt. Did he get hurt? He didn't run.
Yeah, could have been on the sideline for a while. Yeah.
Oh, he did. He did.
Right.
Yeah, he did. Excuse me. He did. He ran and finished 10 lengths back, which I didn't think was a feather in his cap. So, but who knows? He has never run at Ellis, but he's a player.
Yeah,
he's a player.
I saw.
And the interesting horse to me, there was an interesting horse I liked, or 2 actually, that I think need to be looked at least. One is Proxy, and the other is Rattle and Roll, who's been doing extremely well over the last few times he's run. He's won 3 in a row for McPeak. So McPeak's got a few in here. Besides Smile Happy, he's got Rattle and Roll. And I made some money on his last, I remember that. I made a little money on him in his last outing where he won by a length and a quarter. So,
right.
The reason, only problem I had with Last Samurai is I kind of thought of him as an Oak Lawn specialist. He seems to
Yeah.
do extremely well at Oaklawn and not that well at other tracks.
Also,
Although he did finish third, 3/4 of a length off at Ellis. So he's, but you can go in. I mean, I guess what we're saying is this is a pretty even race and wide open. So you should be looking for
yeah,
a price.
that was my thinking on that. The horses defeated, West Will Power, but like you said at Oaklawn, Torres gets back aboard and has run really. Actually, the best races are with Christian Torres aboard. D. Wayne, of course, we don't have to say too much about how great of a trainer he's been, and yeah, I think it's definitely a wide. The only I had another
But
kind of
but
yeah.
so it's interesting, Joe, because when you look at he lost last out to Smile Happy, okay,
Mhm.
and Art Collector and West Will Power. Those are the three that finished first, second, and third in that race. Then he lost to Proxy by a head and Stiletto Boy. So I mean, and they're all very close. This is the all these horses are very much together. So it could go 9 ways to Sunday, and I wouldn't be surprised. The only horses I would surprise me are Happy American and the Speed Bias.
Right.
Even though those two ran decently against Rattle and Roll. So, but those two would be my outsiders, if anything.
It's going to be a great capper to the night for the Stephen Foster Under the Lights, I think, right?
It is.
Yeah. I think it's Under the Lights.
No,
No,
they
no.
switched it.
I was thinking,
No, they switched
yeah,
it.
that's right.
As a matter of fact, you're going to have to keep an eye on when the card starts because Ellis has been changing their start times due to a heat wave that's going through Kentucky.
Okay.
And
Good tip.
I was watching the first race today, and there was a weather delay. They must have got. There's a lot of heavy thunderstorms in the area, and so it delayed the races. And tomorrow's race, I think, starts at Las Vegas time, 7:30 in the morning, so 10:30 your time. So
Yeah.
I mean, you're going to have to keep an eye on what's going on because they keep changing.
Yeah, that's a good tip because the viewers need to stay ready for whatever comes the changes.
Got to be flexible.
Got to be flexible. Yeah. So we're going to get into our last two stakes on Saturday, which maybe not as good as what they have over in Ellis Park, but nevertheless, we've got some good racing. The Dwyer, the 3-year-olds, and the 6th race at Belmont. It's a mile on the Belmont 1-turn mile, and it's an interesting race. How are you looking for it? Do you see any way to make some money on this one?
Well, I went with the 2, the Saudi Crown, who's again, you think I was in the Cox barn.
Yeah, you fess up.
I mean, yeah, I mean, he's improving. He's won twice in a row, improving figures each time. Had a little trouble out of the gate, and still won by almost 2 lengths.
Mm-hmm.
But he's up against a horse that I've seen run before, Fort Bragg, who's a Baffert horse,
Right.
And interesting that Baffert is putting blinkers on this horse. And the horse has been running, early in his races anyway, so I'm not quite sure. Maybe he's not finishing well. It looks like maybe what they've determined is that the horse, his last 3 outs, his last time he led into the stretch and then faded to second, lost by a neck. And then he was third, a length back, and finished fifth, 9.5 lengths back. And then he was fourth, 3.5 lengths back, and finished fifth, 5.5 lengths. So he's not finishing the race very well. But this horse was, he was in the Forte Mage race, the Florida Derby, and it was very disappointing. They switched jockeys, which is interesting. He goes to Johnny V, and Johnny V has been teaming up with Baffert quite successfully. So, you're looking at, he's coming off a slight layoff, but he's been working very, very well. So, which you would expect for Baffert. Baffert works his horse is very hard. So, in any event, I think it's a two-man race or two-horse race. So
yeah, I went with trying to get a little bit of a price, and definitely this may be a stretch. The number 3 Harrodsburg with Rob Atras and Manny Franco.
Okay,
We'll be up front with some of the others. I don't know. We'll have to see if it has enough to take the next step up to work for a longer distance. But I'm sure the price will be there.
And can he get the distance?
I know. And Rob Atras is not having a good meet at Belmont.
Well, one of the reasons is he was suspended there for a while, so he wasn't even a listed trainer.
Right.
So the last couple of weeks. So I think you have to give it a little. Looks like the horse has been training well. Can't. He's run a bullet, and he's ran second out of 33, 48 flat. And so the horse is obviously ready to go. What's his price?
I don't have the morning line out.
I don't have the morning line.
But Rob Atras,
I don't think they're out yet.
Yeah, Rob Atras is a Yankees fan, so I don't know about that.
Yeah, well, that's a constant negative.
Yeah, that's right.
I don't know whether I'm looking at who was it, German that or Traban, whatever his name is, pitched a perfect game last night. Whoa,
oh yeah,
what a fantastic thing, right?
Right.
I looked at him. He was playing a Class A team, the Oakland A's.
Yeah.
I might be able to pitch.
So there's an asterisk next to that one. Yeah. Hey, we got to wrap it up with our final race.
On my card.
Yeah.
Okay.
We've got coming up right now, the final stake that we're taking a look at. It's the number 9, the Nehrude Stakes, in honor of John Nehrude, longtime trainer. I think he lived to 102 years old or something.
Yeah, he died a few years ago.
Yeah.
He was a good friend of I think Steve Bix.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, he used to have him on all the time.
Yeah.
Right. So, anyways, tell us your thoughts on this race.
Okay. Who did I pick? I don't even remember. Oh, this is an interesting race because I picked Weber, and you'll remember this horse. This horse won the Preakness at one time, right? Was he in there, or he won? What did he win?
Yeah. You keep going.
Last year, yeah, I mean, like, again, he's faced the best of the best. Uh, so I thought Pletcher might be aiming at this race. You know, his rival is primarily is what the Candyman Rocket. Is that the
Yeah, Candyman Rocket. Yeah.
who did you pick? Is that who you picked?
Well, I picked. I'm pulling on my picks right here. Got so many screens open here. Yeah.
I know,
Oh, I went
I
with
know, I
actually.
know.
It was not really a stretch. I went with Wayburn, your pick as well. So we're on the same page.
Yeah. Okay. Uh, I thought that an interesting, and I'm not sure what the price is, but Synthesis was another horse that I looked at. Again, he's one of these horses that has faced some decent competition,
Hmm.
and it might be a price
For Synthesis.
for some. Yeah, what did you have on him?
Yeah, then I just had Wayburn. I don't know. I don't think this race is going to be. I'm not digging deep into this one, but I like your thoughts on the two horses you selected.
Well, yeah. The interesting thing to me, hang on, I not only do I have so many screens open, but these races aren't, they're not on the usual, they're not, they've been drawn, but they're not on the sites that I normally would follow,
Right.
Uh, so, let me pull this up just for a second here. Okay, here we go. I got Synthesis as a long shot, and he's 15-1 on the morning line. So, but the interesting thing to me, when you look at his distance, he's won 4 out of his 7. So the horse has won 10 times, but 4 of those 10 have come at this distance. So I kind of looked at that. The problem is he's a come from behind horse. So
Yeah.
the Wayburn, the number 1 should have the lead and should be the favorite, with Wayburn the second favorite. So I went with the second favorite.
Okay. Todd Pletcher taking over the reins, and Jose Ortiz on the number 3 Wayburn. But hey, listen, if you dig into Bill Kelley's number 7 Synthesis, definitely you made some good points about that horse.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And it should be a price.
Should be a price. So,
Yep. Yep.
So that I
And
think that's
Davidson,
a wrap on
it's
what
funny. Yeah, Davidson has been very hot, if I'm not mistaken, with uh, Manny Franco.
Mm-hmm.
Well, not really. I thought it was better than that. I thought he's 11% with Franco, but in any event, Manny will give him a good ride. So if he's 15-1, I'm gonna throw $2 on him just to make sure.
That's right. Yeah. So this week, better racing here in the States, and that's been our analysis here. Win at the Horses. Bill Kelley and Joe Kelley here, father and son team, and maybe next week or we can start looking into a preview of Saratoga and get our folks prepped for the beginning of the meet. I'm waiting for my season pass in the mail.
I watched. I'm. I was looking at some of the handicappers that have been successful up at Saratoga. And one recommendation that they said, number one, is that Saratoga is a horse for course track.
Mhm.
Even horses that do not come up there with form seem to do very well at Saratoga if they've had a win up there. So that's the number one angle to look for on Saratoga.
Yeah, mark that down. I came up with an angle. I'll repeat it when we talk about it in depth. But today I was looking at first at Saratoga, first time as a tag, first time ever going for claiming horses on the dirt, not the turf. For some reason, the turf they do terrible. Have won at 30% at last year's meet, so pretty sizable profit
Really?
too.
Well,
Yeah, that really was interesting.
that's an excellent. That makes sense because the owners want to win up there, so they don't mind losing a horse if they can get a win.
Right. Yeah.
So that
So
makes some sense. Makes some
yeah.
sense.
So and
I think if you
the
look at
highest
Belmont too, Joe, and you
right.
yeah,
Delmar,
Delmar
yeah.
has the same type of angle to it.
So we'll get into all that prior to both seasons of Delmar and Saratoga here at Win at the Horses. And I got to thank you, Dad, for stopping by another great show. We're continuing along here and getting the technical things ironed out on my end here.
Well, just a recommendation, if people are following, tune in and check those short videos that you put on. You're at the track almost every day, looking at the horses as they work out. So
yeah,
so we're expecting some big things from you, Joe.
I'll be there tomorrow morning. That's the plan. Getting there a little after 7 in the morning. See what kind of nuggets I can dig up.
Terrific.
Yeah. All right. Thanks, Dad.
The pictures and some of the interviews are fantastic. Okay.
Yeah, thanks. I appreciate it.
Good luck to
thanks
everyone.
everybody for tuning in. All right.